I'm just going to do some cleanup. Between the last video and this one, I decided to go in here and horse around, and I put on a few other things onto the character, and I threw them on really fast. I just made a blink, boop, left and right, boop, and I made it so the brows can go up, and both sides, and then I also threw in a nose crunch. Oi! And these things mixed together might seem kind of fun a bit later. And just a couple other things I want to do here before I go in and bind it. I noticed that there is a whole schwack of stuff in here. Okay, I'm just going to go in and zoom out a little bit. I'm going to grab everything. And why is it not selecting anything? Because I got that stupid thing on. Okay, let's try it again. Boop. And I'm just going to grab... no, I'm going to leave that alone. And I can see all these things selected. I'm just going to go up here and just kill the history on these things. Got rid of a whole pile of those soft modification nodes, and let's just get rid of that. And I notice that there's a whole schwack of these little extra ghosty nodes. Remember that I go into options, display, hidden, and shape nodes, and I have that on. I'm just going to go in here and nuke these things out of here too. You just want to make sure they're not doing anything important, but typically they're not. That's just a good way to kind of clean them up and make sure they're not around and they don't come back and haunt you. Okay. And I'm going to turn that music down. Okay. And now that I've got all these things set up, blend shape should still work. That's going to make me happy. I'm just going to take all of these things, and there's a couple more here. Let's just take that, and that, and get rid of those two. Okay. And this head group, I'm going to leave that alone. Those extra little nodes there is a cluster on here, and I think that's the thing that's causing most of these little nodes, those history nodes, so that's okay. But this other stuff is just going to start to visually get on my nerves, so I'm just going to go in here and grab it all. I'm just going to group it, and then I'm going to stick it into its own little layer and hide it. Okay, and I might even just kind of double click on it, and it'll collapse it in here. Remember that if you want it to expand, you just right click and expand all. Or you can just kind of go and double click on it. It'll expand just these little, these things here. So you can go to your individual heads if you want to, or whatever you want to do. Okay. So, what I want to do next is I want to take the head pieces and, you know, if you're finished with the cluster, you could go ahead and delete the history on this thing. Actually, maybe for the sake of this thing, I'm just going to get rid of it. I don't think I'm going to use it again. And if I have to use it again, I'll just make another one. And I'm just going to grab all these pieces of the head here, and I'm just going to grab that joint there, and I'm just going to go up here to skin, smooth bind, and I bound it in. And then if I go and I check it, so let's go and grab the head here, and I see how the weighting is. Okay, those eyes I'm going to deal with in a moment. I'm just going to go in here and deal with weighting the head, and then I'll do with rigging up the eyes. Although it looks kind of funny when you do that. Whoop. Ooh. Ooh. Remember, there's like the geometry underneath still. It's got that eye thing on it. Anyway. So I just want to go in here and weight this thing really quick. And fast way to weight this is I'm going to go into Window, General Editors, Component Editor. And in the Component Editor, if I go into, say, Vertices, and sometimes you'll find that you have to hit F8 to go into component mode. Just so you notice. Ay, crap, I don't want to see that. I'm just going to move this down so you can see what the hell I'm looking at. So right here, this is object mode, that's component mode. And you'll see that when you're in component mode, that way you won't accidentally hit the bones. Okay, if you're in object mode and you go and you right click, you grab vertices, you're going to hit the bone. Right, and if I go on, I can turn the bones off so I can't select them, so I can right click and then I can drag down in here and then I don't select the bone. So you've got like 2 different options to do this. Anyway, so now we're back to his head, and I'm just going to go in and whoop, whoop. Okay, great. Do something like that. And just because I got all the vertices in the whole head selected, this might make it easier to make sure that it's all weighted to this bone right here. Now I could go in here and find the head tip. Actually, neck 1, 2, 3, it's going to be this one right here. If I just drag down here, you see this thing going really slow. So what do I do? Can I go here and can I hit the first one? Let's try it again. Hit the first one, and then go down here all the way to the bottom and hold down shift and drag and get this one too. Okay, great. Now I can hit 1, boop, and now they're all weighted 100% to that joint. Okay, you can type in individual values too, but I'm always just looking for fast little shortcuts. And now you'll see that when I grab this bone, go back up here and I'm going to put bones on again so I can grab this thing. And I'll hit 5 or 6. Whoop. Now the whole head is weighted pretty much 100% to this thing, except for some of these ones down in here. And that's okay, we can deal with that in a second. I just saw a hockey game. And anyway, let's go back over here, right click, assume preferred angle, boom, it's back there. I might want to do this to these other pieces as well, like the mouth and stuff. There is another trick, because when I'm in here and I'm going to the paint skin cluster, remember you can get to that like 2 different ways. You can go up there to skin, edit smooth skin, and you can go to paint skin weights. It's the same thing. I just did it 2 different ways. And if I go and I double click on this thing, you can go and look at these joint names, or you could do the other trick to get to the bone that you want to add weight to or whatever, is just go and right click over the bone and hit paint weights, and it turns blue, and you can see this one is selected right here. Okay, so I'm showing you a whole schwack of little funny shortcuts. And these ones around here, I'm going to put on smooth and play with the devil. Actually, just hold on a second, I better save before I play with the devil. Save. I just hit Control S, that's bad, but just trying to do this fast. And see what happens when I hit smooth. See, it looks like it's the devil, because it's doing such a nice job right now. Remember, don't hit undo when you're painting weights. You can, you might not have a problem, but every once in a while you're going to get hit, and you're going to crash, and you'll be under the table crying, just like me. Okay? Oh, and you can see right here we've got some issues. The teeth are flying out of the head. Let's just grab one of the teeth here. I'm going to go to paint skin weights. Neck 3. If I put it on add, there's a flood button. Boop. I can hit flood and it all goes to the right spot. Okay? And remember, I can do that with other things too. Like, well, here, let's just grab this one. Go back over here and it's on add. And I just hit the flood button. Boom. It's all on 100%. And it's just going, it's the same as that other thing I just did almost. Let's get to the tongue here. Can I go in here to tongue, and I'm going to go and hit select. I'm right clicking, and I'll just do the same thing again. Make sure it's all weighted to that one joint, and I just don't ever have to think about it. So there's all those pieces there, done. And let's go back here to the paint skin weights and put it back to 5. Okay, and we're seeing how this is weighting in here. I'm going to put it back to smooth here. I'm going to go to neck 2. Just going to see what happens if I do something like this. And what do we got? My opacity sitting at 1. Okay, good enough. Neck 1. Shouldn't really have much of an influence over this area. And these bottom ones here, those should be influenced primarily by back one here, I'd probably suspect. And I'm just going to put that to add, and let's go make my brush smaller. Maybe I want to turn on reflections. Boop. Why don't I get reflections? God damn you! Okay, whatever. Just gonna smooth these in here with the back as well. And I should probably be seeing what these freaking joints are doing for me, because actually I'm just guessing right now. And let's go into 4. What do we got? 9 minutes. And if I just take this and I go in and I say assume preferred angle, if I grab this joint, god damn you, this one, and this one, just see what they're going to look like. I'm going to hit 5. Boop. And if I rotate them at the same time, I kind of move this around. I might have to do some weighting here to the base of the neck here, so that this area on the shirt and stuff is weighted a bit more to the bottom. But otherwise the head and neck are moving around, and the head is fairly solid, and I'm happy with that. Primarily, actually, I'm not going to move that base joint around too much, so maybe I might not even look at that one. Maybe I'll just deselect this one. This one here is going to be fairly minor. These ones here shouldn't move the neck base around too much at all. But there you go. So there, I've just kind of put in the head and weighted it. Next one I'm going to do is I'm just going to take on the eyes. Take 'em on!